We got our music going. Welcome, everyone. I'm so glad you're here. We are changing things up tonight. So happy you're here. The first few minutes is going to be all about Lalit, and then we're going to take personal readings. And I'm going to put the link for this show in the chat or in the comments, so you can click on it and come into the show and we'll give you a reading, that kind of thing. So we'll still do numbers. It'll be fun. We've got Lalit from Astrology Vibrations, and she has a great deal coming up. I'm going to have her explain it. Her great deal coming up with the with her business. So welcome, everyone. We've got Karen Doyle's here, and Karen says, hi, Lalit. Yeah, she's
Karen.
Lalit just noticed that she could read the comments. So she's going to be able to say hello for sure. Dennis, there you are, Dennis. Good to see you, sweetheart. That's wonderful. I hope you had a good week. It's been a crazy, crazy week, Lalit. And it's very interesting day. You said something when we were prepping for the show. You said something to me that I would like you to start with. Do you remember what that was?
I think I do. It was regarding the image of the fireworks boat. This last week, I said the image I got for the week is the fireworks boat in New York Harbor that has all the different explosives that are supposed to go off one after the other. By accident, it all exploded at once and it all went off. And so it was a little frightening for me to see that, because those energies can be expressed in a negative way. In the positive expression, for you enlightened beings out there, all of you light bearers, it's that Pluto and Mars thing is like a good mediumship energy and connection with the veil. But for people of lower vibration, it's a violent thing. So I said to Debra, I thought we were lucky getting off with just one mass shooting, because it was that kind of energy when you get it takes just a few of those crazies to spoil the party for everyone. And on our hearts and our love and our prayers go out to all the people who are suffering from that event.
And I've had a hard day with Alexei leaving us. So, but I have discovered why we have MAGA people. It was in my process of grief through Alexei's death that I had to figure out why we're in this spot, this awful, awful spot. And I figured it out. I tried to make a video, but I was too emotional. So I will get that video done and post it. So I won't be going into that today, because this is all about us and how to live the next week.
How to live the next week.
All right, so we're going to start out with Lalit, and she'll go full
speed ahead. So Pluto, by the way, reminding everybody, it is the ruler of Scorpio, and it is the planet that would represent, say, the death card in your tarot deck. And it does not necessarily mean physical death, but it is those deep, powerful under energies. So I'm going to try to keep this a little more narrow and a little less detailed than last week. And our situation is not as dire as last week with so many details. So we're going to try to get through it quickly so we have more time for readings at the end. And I wanted to say that I have this idea. Next week, maybe we'll live stream also to my channel, and then I can make you guys a PDF file with the calendar of the week with all the highlights day by day, saying, giving you all of the main things for day by day playbook for the week. I think if you like that idea, say, yes, good idea. And I'd be happy to do that. I think that would be useful for everybody. Then you don't have to take notes, and you can just pay attention to what's happening. Anyhow, we're just going to cover some main highlights so we can have more time for individual readings. So we'll start with the fact that you're all going to become more cognizant of and sensitive to your personal lunar cycle. Keep a little notebook of what's happening in your life cycle by cycle, and you'll begin to see patterns that make sense to you. And today is the first quarter of the lunar cycle beginning. Last week we had the new moon. So the new moon, you'll remember, was not visible in the sky at all. Dark moon, they call it. And then it gradually turned into a tiny little crescent. And each day that crescent got larger and larger. And the first week, the first 7.5 days is the new moon. And then today we begin the first quarter. It started this morning at 7:02 p.m. Pacific time, 7:02 a.m. Pacific time this morning. And so when you look up in the sky, if you imagine the moon is an actual full circle, but you're not going to see the full circle. You're going to see exactly half of the circle. And that's called a gibbous, Gibbous moon. So it's a gibbous waxing moon. So it's half full. We're halfway to full moon is what that means in plain English. Halfway to full moon, and the moon is half of a circle. So this is still the growing phase. And remember, last week we said, get your intentions set for the whole lunar cycle. Make your intentions clear. Really think a lot about your directions that you want to take and things that you need to do and your things that you want to manifest. And we are now coming into the first quarter, meaning it's time for you to bring everything to a conclusion. You need to take care of the details, and we're in that growing phase. And here's an interesting aside. You know how there's a crescent roll, a croissant in France, they call those little pastry that's moon shaped. That actually came about because there was a famous battle that took place in Constantinople, now Istanbul, and the city was going to be destroyed by an invading army, and it happened right at the time of the crescent moon. And when they won the victory, they won the victorious battle, they all celebrated by making the crescent-shaped rolls to commemorate the event. I think that's why they have that on their flag, too. You know how it has the crescent and the star. Anyway, that's a crescent. Croissant means growing. Also think of the word crescendo in music. Things are growing louder in music. So it's a time of new beginnings. You planted your seeds, and today you're halfway full. So it's time. You have one more week to get everything, all the details taken care of at the full moon. And that completes a 15-day growing cycle. The full moon, I wrote down the dates, and next week I can have a PDF file for you, I hope. Full moon, Saturday, February 24th, but it's happening so early in the morning, 4:30 a.m. Pacific. So we're going to feel that Friday night at our next meeting. We'll be in the throes of the full moon. It's happening with the moon is in 5 degrees of Virgo and the sun in 5 degrees of Pisces, more or less. And we'll go to the other things in a minute. Anyway, be aware of that. That's a good time to do things like when it gets to be the full moon, you'll want to get your crystals ready to charge up your own body, do meditations for your personal energy. But you need this week to finish up the details, make phone calls, do paperwork, etc., and put your foot on the gas pedal, because the week is fantastically great opportunity for manifesting. Not just because of the full moon. There's a bunch of things together that manifestation is going to be so strong that you actually have to be careful, because you're going to manifest whatever it is you're thinking of, whatever it is that's going through your mind. So be vigilant, watch out, because if you think negatively, you're going to manifest some negative ramifications in your life. It will be a mirror of your thoughts. So just be vigilant, be careful. And I wouldn't spend too much time watching bad news on TV. I know I get caught up in politics and things that don't make me feel happy. And I've just really come to a realization I need to make a time limit on that, because it does affect your joy factor, your joy level. And that joy level is what it is that gives you psychic energy for positive manifestation. So be careful. This week is very intense for manifesting. So negative thoughts, put a curb on it and limit anything that's going to lower your vibration, like the news. And the motto for the week, last week it was fireworks exploding everywhere. This week is a little better. It is thoughts are things. Thoughts are things. I'm going to say it again. Thoughts are things. Be aware of those thoughts that are coming through, because they are powerful, powerful, and they will have ramifications that will affect your life and also your well-being in really tangible ways, good or bad. So make the right choices, be vigilant on mental control. So the full moon on the 24th, early in the morning Pacific time, is the culmination of the growing phase, and then the moon will begin to decrease. That's the waning phase. So this is going to be your deadline. Next Friday at class, we want to see your list. You did all your stuff. Okay, so be aware the moon travels really quickly. It moves about 12.5 to 15 degrees of the zodiac in one day. That makes it staying in one zodiac sign. It passes through one whole sign in about 2.5 days. It's in the sign and then it's out. And so it passes very quickly. So it's the second hand on your astrological clock. It ticks off the quickly in relationship to other planets. And it's kind of like a fuse as it goes by. Ding, it sets off the different things happening. And it really affects your emotional well-being. So you want to be aware of how things work in your own personal chart, because you're going to observe with each lunar cycle that you have how you feel at certain times. And that's very important. And the moon does reflect kind of short-lived mood changes, especially it's strong in children's charts. And so today we have the moon in Gemini. Gemini is the planet sign ruled by Mercury, communication. Everything that has to do with communication and going back and forth and computers and things like that. And it's in a very positive aspect with all the planets that are in Aquarius. Both Gemini and Aquarius are air signs. So favorable for communication, mental pursuits. And here's something: original, out-of-the-box solutions for problems, original thinking, solving problems in creative ways. You know, Einstein would do this. He would get stuck on a problem and he didn't know what to do. So he would say, well, you can't solve a problem from the same place that the problem was created. You have to be in a new vibrational state. Einstein actually said that. So he'd take his violin and just immerse himself in the music and then play along until some inspiration just hit him. And so look for original and unexpected solutions to problems. And it's a good time for tuning into your intuition for that. And we're going to see more details about today and tomorrow. If you want to see more of the little details about today and tomorrow, it was on last week's show. So you could review last week to get more details of today and tomorrow, because our weekly calendar starts on the next Sunday. So we're going to start talking about February 18, 19, and 20. So here are the lunar positions. On the 16th, the moon went into Gemini. Now today, it is there, but in the 18th, it's going to be moving into Cancer. Moon rules Cancer. And when that happens, it's also in a really great, wonderful aspect to Jupiter in the earth sign of Taurus, which governs abundance, so beauty and harmony, and Saturn, practical and organizational skills. That means put that together. It's a great time to reorganize or redecorate your home, clean out some stuff, get it to the Goodwill, and make room for new, beautiful things that are going to move in when you do that. So, and express loving, kind, and generous thoughts. You're going to have heightened intuition and empathy. Pay close attention to your dream life and write in your dream journal for those days. This is where your intuition is really heightened. We've already mentioned, don't miss the opportunity to visualize your intentions as you're drifting off to sleep. That's a very powerful time, also when you first wake up. And the sun will enter Pisces on February 19th, giving an exclamation point to all of that. So the planets, several planets are moving out of Aquarius and into Pisces, this highest spiritual, ethereal vibrations in the whole zodiac. So that's going to really soften up that cluster we had in Aquarius, and especially that Pluto and Mars were right together. We know what that means. That is violent. So the it's widening out, so it'll be less intense. And the other thing that's wonderful is Venus and Mars are going to be conjunct each other. So Venus, the feminine side, will soften up the aggression of the Mars, and they're both moving away from Pluto. So the aggressive tendencies and the violence will be a little bit starting to tone down. We're not entirely out of the woods, but it's going to be a little bit more focused on the ethereal, sensitive side of things. And that in Pisces does involve, is the sign of grieving. It's the sign of Jesus on the cross, and it is the sign of transmutation and crossing the veil. So, last week and today was some terrible events, but we have to keep our light shining, because we know that all these things are working toward the higher good, as much as they are dramatic and sad. They are working toward the higher good. So I want you to think of a little anagram for an expression that I like to use when the things look kind of glum. You can say, everything's working out perfectly, EWOP. EWOP, EWOP, everything's working out perfectly. We know that Navalny he was aware that this was his fate, and more than his fate was why he was sent to Earth, and why he signed up for the job. And he's a tremendous, brave hero that is going to have such a long-lasting effect in the future of the world. And this event, as sad as it is going to magnify the positive things that he was trying to create in the world. So we have to keep our focus on that part of it. And so let's talk about the 21st. Starting on the 21st, the moon is going to enter Leo, and this is 6 a.m. all times are Pacific. Moon was at home in Cancer and is a stronger position. When it goes into Leo, the home of the sun, it's not in its favorite location, and it's going to be having a negative aspect with all the fixed signs. Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, all the planets there are having a bit of a conflict. And it's similar to what we talked about last week with a square that's 90-degree angles, difficulty and stress. With the fixed signs, you can expect some bullying behavior, obstinate, stubborn people, dark emotions need to keep in check. So when you start your day, be prepared with your shield up, and don't get involved in that melee, and channel the energy in a positive way. A positive way to deal with that energy is aggressively attack the obstacles which are preventing you from reaching your goals. You got to do some deep and honest soul searching way down inside, because if there's something you've been blocked from achieving, the block is from inside of you. So you got to figure out what is happening in there that's prevented you from reaching those goals. So work hard on that, be tough on yourself, and don't give up until the job is really complete. We're going to backtrack for a second. I want to talk for a minute about February 18th. I mentioned that the sun was leaving Aquarius and entering Pisces. The moon left Gemini to enter Cancer. And so all of the energy of these days is less intellectual and more heart-centered, with your intuition being based while the moon is in Cancer. And so in those days, you also have, and we're talking about from between 18 to up to 21 in those days, Saturn is in the mix there. So you do have to pay attention to structure and practical detail. So use your intuition to see what needs to be done to make things concrete and focus on your manifestation. And keep positive. Don't let any anxiety, depression, or fear creep in. Everything is working out perfectly. So keep focused on your dream, your intentions, and the knowledge that you already have it. Your home environment, your meals, stay healthy, eat properly, don't overindulge, moderation in all things. So getting back to the 21 and 22 with the moon in Leo, this is, like I said, you're going to avoid confrontations with those stubborn people. You know who they are, maybe in your family or at work, or, you don't want to get involved in that. And at this point, on the evening of the 23rd, the moon goes into Virgo, and that is the place where the position of critical analytical thinking, of being aware of how things work and how to solve problems. And especially it's in a relationship with Mercury and Saturn all week. You're going to be, when that starts, which is just before the full moon, it's going to be the new lunar cycle. You've got the moon in Virgo and the sun in Pisces. It's the Pisces Virgo axis. So the Virgo part is critical thinking. The Pisces part is intuition, and you're balancing your intuition with your intellect and your critical thinking. So you want to let your intuition come into the critical thinking to help you solve problems in an intuitive way. And you want your reasoning to come into the dreamy Pisces-like part, which sometimes is so dreamy, it's just nebulous and vague and lost, and you can't bring things to fruition because it's, well, I thought of the poet Coleridge. I think he took opium or something and would have dreams and visions of his poems, but he'd wake up and lose a lot of the detail, and he couldn't remember all of it. So you don't want to have things remain foggy and nebulous. You want to be able to bring things into the concrete. So it's a balancing of the critical and analytical mind and the intuition. So both balance each other out and you get the best in both parts. So when we meet again next Friday, we're going to be right at the middle of that full moon on the night of the 23rd. Is just when it's becoming at the biggest part. So tune in, and we'll I hope to get you a downloadable PDF file of all of the things that you can do during the week. And my channel is Astrology Vibrations, same as my email. And one more thing, I just want to mention one last thing. The exact conjunction of Venus and Mars is beautiful. And it is really that, we're getting out of that big difficult thing with all those planets in Aquarius. So get ready for a very beautiful, powerful full moon energy. You can charge up your crystals and your own body, emphasizing the emotional, sensitive, loving, harmony-seeking things. It's a really beautiful beginning to the next lunar phase. And if anybody wants details regarding their personal chart, how these things really hook up to your individual chart, I'm going to do a thing that I've never done before, which is offer readings to answer like 1 or 2 questions, just a short reading, like 15 minutes or so, where I cover 1 or 2 questions. I'll do your chart for you. And if you don't have your chart, I'll email you your chart and an interpretation of a little ebook if you don't have that, so that you can use that for reference to all the things we talk about here too. So for that little meeting, Debra, who's the number wizard, said, 44 is a good number. You should, because I didn't have any idea what I charge for that, because I normally don't do little readings. I do long ones. And she said, $44 is a good number. So I'm going to charge $44 for an individual reading. And if you send me an email, I'll be checking numerous times through the day. I'll get right back to you and we can hook up immediately. I'll send you times that I'm available, and we'll work out something so that you can have an immediate answer if you have a pressing question. Or within a day or two of you sending me the email, we can hook up. if the answer is not available through astrology, as sometimes it's not. Once in a while, the answer is not too clear. We can use tarot cards and dowsing rods too, like we're going to do here. And so that's the 15-minute of your week in the astrological future.
Thank you so much. That's a nice offer, because a lot of people just want this one nagging question.
Nagging question.
Without any deep. So that's awesome. Awesome possum. So she can be reached just at email astrologyvibrations with an S at gmail.com.
Yeah, it's plural. So make sure you put astrology vibrations with an S on the end, because once I had somebody do it to astrology vibration, he said, "Why didn't you answer my emails? I've been sending you email." Well, I never got it. Put an S on the end. Same for the YouTube channel next week.
Love it, love it, love it. So this is how I'd like to play it this time. I'm going to, I think I still have it in my clipboard here. I'm going to paste, yes. Here is the invitation. If you'd like to have like a regular reading where you have, it's not going to be a long reading, it's just a short reading like we always do. But if you're in the room, you can ask questions, and it can be kind of fun to do that. So just click on that link that I have here in the comments. But it's best if you have your mic, you have a mic and a camera, and you go to YouTube through Chrome, and then you'll.
Sorry, I fired up the astrology program to look at people's charts. If you give me your date,
Okay.
Date of birth, and that, I apologize, but it starts with that music. So if you
got music on there, music, you got yeah. I like my music. So if anyone has a question, it can be personal, it can be political, it can be anything. But make sure, if you want to stay in the chat and not come into the room, that's fine too. But please, please make it in all caps, because I'm having a hard time seeing everything. But I'm having a good time this week too with getting stuff done and getting the last week of the Gimme Some of Dat moon. And I've gotten clarity on things and all of that stuff. So it's really, really fun when you do it. But I know what you mean, Lily, because if I slack off on my my list of to-do things, if I just allow myself time to enjoy the silence, I can lose myself easy. Lose track of time, and it's over with, right? So it's pretty fantastic. So I did do Navalny's numbers, and he is a master number 33. I guessed it. I was thinking with how he's done his life, and that's a master teacher. And the slogan is, "I create truth." And I think he's one of the most bravest people I know. I mean, that I've ever witnessed in my lifetime. I really appreciate him. So it's a fantastic number to have. If you know or are a master number 33, you don't have to go to Russia and go to jail. You don't have to do that. But you will be in your lifetime called to do or stand with something. Now don't be afraid of that either, because you will also have the knowledge, the grace, the inspiration, all in the same package, as you would have the impulse to serve in a certain way. So it doesn't have to be as loud and big as Navalny, but it certainly can. You will in many ways throughout your life. So no questions are coming in. What do you want to talk about, Lalit? I've got my numbers here.
Hey, everybody has a question. Come on now.
Hey.
There you go.
Thank you, Mary.
Mary, do you happen to know your time? If you do, let me know.
Oh, congratulations. 19, you get turns just a few days ago,
Yeah,
62.
happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Do you happen to know the time and place, Mary? Okay, 1 p.m. Where, please? Cincinnati.
So, while she's working that out, Mary, thank you, Sharon. Oh, Sharon said, you're so nice to advertise my stuff. Yes, I have a video tarot course on sale for $44. That was a Black Friday thing that I decided to have it over. I do have memberships where I teach how to read the Clarity Tarot and use numbers at the same time if you want to learn how to do readings. That's a membership only on my YouTube, and we do not meet on YouTube. We meet on Zoom so we can have conversations and actually learn a lot of things. I kind of meet you where you are and take you from there instead of starting at basic, and it's not a lecture, it's more of a conversation. And so what I have for you, Mary, you are a 5 life path, a 23 5 life path, which means that you're pretty flexible. When you're not flexible, it means you feel like you don't it means you feel like you don't have any options. You have to find your freedom inside a commitment, and that's been your theme. And the way you do it is through the 23, which is creativity and collaboration. Now, you are entering a 4 personal year, which means tying up loose ends. This combination reminds me of the Pleiadians, because that soul group are really fast thinking, and they're big picture people, and they can really see it, but the details, every little step they have to make to get to their goal drives them nuts. So if there's things you have to tie up this year, it's going to be easy if you slow your mind down and feel like you're not people aren't up against you all the time. But you would be able to find stability and security this year because you're a 4 personal year, and that's your blessing. And also it's an 8 universal, which is all this manifesting. So good on you for that. So that's what I've got. I hope life is treating you right. 62 is a good year. Do you have anything for her?
Wow, Mary. My goodness, your horoscope is so intense. You know how we were talking about all those planets with in Aquarius? You were born with such a thing. Have you seen your chart before, Mary? I don't know, but you have Saturn, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Sun, and Venus all in Aquarius. So they've all being bombarded at this time. And you were born with the moon in Gemini. Today the moon is in Gemini. This is a day, this whole period of time is, I would say, illumination for you. It's a time where you really are revising your spiritual philosophy of life, and you're discovering your truth, and you're discovering spiritual principles that you're really able to put into practice. But I would say, wow, you're not going to have another birthday year like this one ever. It's such a big big year for you. This is a turning point in your life, in your psychic development. So your moon is in the 12th house of spiritual development. So you have a lot of mediumship ability yourself and intuition. And do you work in that field somehow? You really have a lot of talent, and you're going to be. You should do the maximum you can. in signing up for classes or learning new skills to help you develop this talent, because this is a really big year for you. This, because when you have this birth moment, I just set up the chart for your, what we call a solar return. It really governs the whole year. So you have got like the biggest inner development turning point of your entire life ahead of you. It's something quite amazing. And you do need to watch your health, because so much, you're being bombarded by so much energy. You need to be getting enough rest. Discipline yourself to, are you having trouble sleeping? You need to control your sleep cycle and your basic bodily balance, because it's very intense physical time for you. And you have real opportunities for spiritual development right now, like out the wazoo. You're going to have to put up a shingle if you don't already have one.
I love that. You know what?
It's really big.
Yeah, this year for a lot of people is really, really big. But people think, oh, I can't do that, or so. I'm sure Mary is very psychic. But when you're good at something, you think everybody can do it. When things come easy for you, everyone can do it. And some people really are gifted, and you are one of them, Mary.
You are one of those. Yes, you are. And you this is a year for it to be coming up big. Are we going to do, so is next coming up Dennis? So Mary, I hope I'm going to keep this chart and we can talk about it in the future. I'll save it with just your first name though. So, all right.
I've got her last name and everything for next time. Okay. I mean, for your chart. Okay. So don't worry about that. I've got her. I'll be your secretary. Okay. So Dennis is next. And he is 7:30:63, 8:11 a.m. in Uniontown, PA. And I know, Dennis, you are a master number. I always have to recalculate, though. Having a 9 personal year. And I do want to speak about, yeah, you're 2911, just like me. Just a genius, That's what we are. Got to get used to it.
Dennis, we have options for you. I'm sorry to interrupt. I have Fayette or North or Venango or York. Any of those? Or should I just go with any of these?
There's no Uniontown?
All Uniontown. There seem to be different.
We're waiting.
Slight variations, but.
We're waiting, Dennis. Oh, Ellen, Coach Ellen. Yes, 2911. It's amazing how we kind of clump together and start flocking together, all the 11s. We'll go on. Dennis, you might have gotten up to make a sandwich.
I'll go with the first one.
Oh, there he is, Fayette. He says Fayette.
That's the one I clicked on. Yay, there were a lot of options. Okay.
So it's really neat that I have so many master numbers here. No, I'll work on Yoda. Sorry for the pause. Roxy. Hey, Roxy. 25. Are you ready, Lily?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, go for it.
Dennis, have you got a a seatbelt. I mean, it looks like you're in a state of flux. I mean, you've got some big changes in store for you that could be big life changes, like moving location, changing partner, like a musical chair event where you just change everything. And you got all your Aquarius stuff is in the 6th house of your health. And so we got to be watching out going over Saturn. So you, even more than Mary, need to be very disciplined in being careful with your health. So just, go to the gym, walk off some stress. You need to take care of your stress level, but you be open for some kind of radical change of job, change of location, change of partner. It could happen like in a click. You decide to change all these details about your life, and it in a very deep way. So have you got any big changes you're making decisions on right now?
Do you want to come into the chat, Dennis? I can give you the anybody want to do this, we can take you first. There's the link if you wanted to come in. But sounds like you got some changes coming on, Dennis.
Big changes, dramatic changes at all levels.
At all levels?
Yeah.
You're scared. Come on now.
Big time changes. I mean, they are, it's the kind of thing where you're not afraid to walk away from that which doesn't serve you and just say, okay, I'm tired of being a barber. I'm going to be a chef and open a restaurant, and I'm going to move to New Orleans and or something, you just get a new partner, and I mean, just change everything about your life. There's some big changes here in store for you.
That's awesome. So, and you're also in an 8 universal year, so you can manifest wealth right away. So you can just jump.
Yes, sir. And you could write a book. You could get or communicate on, the new ways of writing book, like online or blogging or something. There's something in communication that you have something unusual talent that you could, a niche that you could exploit to create a really big audience, influencing a specific group of people. I don't know what you do, but you could have an opening in that at this time.
Awesome. We're going to switch over here to Margot. I've been doing some people's birthdays.
He says he doesn't have big decisions. Well, let us know when it hits you, because it's, I think, about to come.
What's that?
Dennis says he has no big decisions, but okay. I think you're going to be having some coming up, because they're just about to hit you. They can also be interior big changes, just where you feel like you feel like you're a new person.
So Margot here is from born in Flint, Michigan, 9:55. And I have you as a very talented intuitive with a 25/7. I got to reach for my something here. Yeah. I should have had this up. But so one of the things about the 7, and I've also got Froxy coming up. Froxy is a 7 as well. And so 7s are very, very unique, very, very talented. They're quiet seekers. In other words, nothing gets past you. Nothing gets past you. So you are having a 5 personal year. Wait a minute, Margot, right? Yeah, you are having a 5 personal year. So there's going to be some opportunities to make new choices. But life is going to be, well, just let me say this. Watch for the synchronicities. Don't brush them off, because life orchestrates new, exciting things for you that you can say yes to. like without even having to put crystals on it. That could be very good this year. So that's good. Have you got her down?
No, I was searching for through the chat for her info, and I didn't see you put it right on the screen. So I'm
Oh,
just
I'm sorry. Shoot, I'm sorry.
not you to be sorry. I was just looking in the wrong place, but I've almost got it.
That's fine. It's a, like I said, an 8 universal year. So you're analytical and intuitive, which is an interesting mix. So whatever you decide to study, and this is for Froxy too, whatever you decide to study, you will be a master at. It can be neuroscience or it can be mediumship. It doesn't matter what you study, it's that you study. You're going to do it anyway because you enjoy information. And but you are able to, and some people are always like Dennis and the other coach Ellen. She's an 11 as well. That's good communication skills, very creative. The thing is about sevens is that they can go in and learn something really complicated, and they learn it as if they're going to teach it. And so they bring the information out and be able to relay the information in a way that all of us dumb people can understand. Whether it be pictures, it's like you intuit. This is the cool part. So you have this information like neuroscience. You're explaining something about that. You can intuit, and you know you're this good. You can intuit how a person learns just by being around them. So you'll say things like, you will see this for people who are visuals, you will draw it out, or you're just an amazing gift to the world about that in that way. You kind of are, the Hermit card can be there, the Hermit card where you enjoy your solitude. And as long as you feel safe in a relationship and have your solitude, that's all you need. That's it. You're a happy camper. I've got the other ones. Got it?
I got it. Yeah. Well, Margot, I see that what Debra is talking about is shown in your chart with Venus in Pisces in the 12th house, which is very gentle, sweet, a way of interacting with other people that you could do. But as an Aries rising, you've got, and Mars right there, you have a tremendous amount of vitality and drive and energy to do things. And it looks like you have a lot of creative ability, and you have a very unusual, quick mind that does not think in the ordinary way. You have a lot of deep intuition, and your mind is very, very quick to move about and make adjustments. You're very, very quick mind and versatile. And Jupiter's at your midheaven in Sagittarius, so you're really interested in philosophy in the highest sense. Like the Hierophant card would be you're interested in higher philosophical studies. And at this time, and you do have a lot of your relationships have a lot of ups and downs with other people, or you have a relationship with unusual people. I'd say you attract partners who are different than other people, and not your standard people, unusual, eccentric people that you attract, and you are very open-minded. And you too have a stellium in Aquarius. You have a lot of things going on in Aquarius, so you've been also bombarded. Well, it's natural. We see you guys turning up now because you're the ones that are being hit with the meteors, boom, boom, boom. And so you're coming into a channel like this saying, what the heck is going on here? So we got like everybody.
We got you covered.
She has a lot of Aquarius stuff going on
awesome.
too.
So that, Margot, that if, or anybody on this line, if you have a continuing question or you want a clarity, it's take advantage of her her offer of, one or two question reading. It could be on any topic, right? For $44, and you get a lot. You get your chart, and you get to understand a little bit more about that. So all you do is email her at astrologyvibrations@gmail.com and say, hey, give me some of that moon. So
Sometimes it'll happen that a person asks a question that they think is the question that they need answering, and the chart will actually show that there's another question behind that one that's the real root of the question, and they're not asking that one and say, well, whatever, so anyway.
So you'll enlighten them. I'm going to move on to Leota, if you don't mind. We'll get ready for Leota. And she is Wilmington, Delaware. I am so impressed by how many people know their birth time.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Leota, that's a new name to me.
Beautiful name. You are a 26/8 life path in an 8 universal year. Hello. Having an 8 personal year. I'm going to be very curious what Lalit has for you, because you have all that 8 energy, which can make you feel under the gun for no reason. I've got to get something done. I've got to make a decision, but you don't even have a question. And it can be a bit confusing, but understand that play with life, everybody, but especially you, play with life. Say, I would like to find a dime heads up today. I know that's fun, little things that we forget to do. And and life is going to synchronize that up because you're in the flow. Now, if there's something heavy on your heart or mind, then it does distract from that, and it brings more, because it's manifesting. It brings more, but you are a powerhouse manifester for sure. Got anything?
Yes, let me see if I got this right.
Gosh, 8 personal year, 8 universal year, 8 life path.
Okay, so 2:45 a.m. Let me check to see if I got this correct. Wilmington, Delaware. Yeah.
Her.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, so we see another person with a lot of energy. Mars on the ascendant in Aries for you too. Lots of energy, and you have your moon in Gemini. You are very quick-witted. Your mind works very quickly, and you can communicate things in a very fast, original way. And you have the moon, so your moon is exactly conjunct Saturn. This is a person who, if you didn't have that Saturn there, your mind would be all over the place. But with Saturn there, you have a tremendous amount of focus. Even though your mind is very quick, it is focused like a laser. Like a laser. And you really have strong analytical ability and communication skill. I mean, you'd be really good as a journalist or investigative person. I don't know, very quick on your feet to respond to things verbally, and you're very sensitive to other people with Jupiter and Venus, so you can understand other people's hearts and know how to communicate with them very deeply. And you really are. Most of your energy is very introverted. You're not a superficial person at all. And people will say, "Oh, Gemini, they're superficial, changeable." You're just the opposite, because you have very stable mind and you are very focused on things that are not superficial, but on the inner realm. And you're very good with communicating with people. And you have talent in your hands too. You could be a healer, or a Reiki healer, or something like that. But
yes, I just want to say one thing that when you have these attributes, so I'm saying one thing, Lalit is listing all this wonderful, the gifts you bring, the light you bring down. And if you can't relate to that, this list of awesome, then there's something in the shadow. And, Lalit can help you out with that. I can certainly look into it as well. But this is the year to get the shadows in the light. So you can say, oh, okay, that's what I need to do to make all of that synchronize up. But down deep inside, we all know that our chart is who we are, right? So,
and sometimes this particular talent that you might have, it doesn't mean you have to do that as a profession. Like I was telling Debra, I'm a pianist, and I have a student that's he's a nuclear physicist professor at Stanford, and he's studying piano. And lots of people who are scientists or doctors need to have music to balance that, because their inner world is just screaming out for that development. And so it could be a talent that you have that you haven't developed that would bring great joy to you. So anyway, yeah, Debra.
okay, I'm gonna go with Froxy right now. If we have time, we're getting there. If we can, there is also, let's see. Oh, Dennis said he's a good mediator. I bet you are. When people are having communication problems, I bet you are. I bet you are. So I have Froxy, and there's also a couple more left, but we can do a little, maybe condense this information. I don't know how fast you can go in, but she is in LA, City of Angels. So speak of the angel, again, I'm sure you heard the other ones when I was talking about the 34/7, because that is an amazing, everything you just heard from Margot and a bit of Leota is yours. I forgot to do let me quickly look up your personal year. Sorry, I'm a one-trick pony. I can't talk and do the computer. So this is a 2 personal year for you. It's all about collaboration. Which 5, 2, 5, 8. Yep, 2 personal year. So what that is with this 2 personal years are kind of tough on some people, especially someone like you, because it's like, what did they say? My friend of mine says it's too peoply out there or something, right? There's too much energy, because you can pick up everybody's energy, but this is the year you have to negotiate with people a little bit different for you to get your needs met. And that's all it is. Don't be afraid of it, but collaboration is how you get to it. So if you have an impulse, a desire to do something, most likely you're going to have to tap on other people's shoulders to help you get it this year. And that's one of the lessons. But the blessing is they will be the right people. They'll just be hanging around. And so you think, okay, I can go ahead and reach out and not feel like I'm a burden. But very, again, I'm a truth seeker. Truth seeker. Have you got Roxy?
Yeah, I have Roxy. Roxy, you're an Aquarius rising, and you have 0 degrees of Aquarius rising. And that's where, that's the exact place that has been hit with the transits that we have. Pluto, Venus, Mars are all sitting right on your ascendant, along with everything else. You've got 6 major planets in your first house: Venus, Pluto, Mars, Mercury, Sun, and Saturn. So you're undergoing right now a real introspection and searching for your true identity and yourself, and maybe connection with your higher self. You're searching for your true identity. Maybe you're doing research into past life reincarnations or contacting your higher self or something of that nature, but you're really searching the soul level at a very deep place. And you have all of those planets in the first house. So you too have to, that's the physical body. You need to have, your, see if you can get get some I got a big supply of chamomile tea myself because I'm on a bit on overdrive too. You need to have maybe some aid to get to sleep and meditation and things. But wow, you also have you're born with the moon in the 12th house in Capricorn, so you have a very sensitive but practical mind. Practical, yet you do have a soft spot in there. And it's practical, but your intuition is very down to earth about things. And you have Uranus and Mercury conjunct, so your mind is very quick. Also, you're air, and a very quick, versatile mind. So you probably have quite a few interests. You're not on one path only. You have quite a few things that you like to do, and you're very creative. And looks like you have ability you have a artistic talent with the hands. I mean, that could be anything from playing the harp or writing or massage, but you have talent in your hands that is artistic and creative. That is a good way for you to use that to ground yourself, because you have a lot of nervous energy that comes through your hands, and you through if you were healing other people, for example, with that energy, you would also be grounding yourself. And sometimes you get depressed about relationships a lot. I mean, we all do, but you have Saturn and Pluto together on the 7th house. So you sometimes can have gloomy thoughts about relationships, whereas you are naturally an optimistic, upbeat person. I think you feel more vulnerable in that area, father figure problems and stuff like that you've carried around for your life, that maybe it's time to let that go, get a new lease on how you look at relationships, so you're not attracting the same kind of people to yourself as always. You need a little change in that area.
Great. Thank you. I hope that helps. I've got Gemstone. Look at that picture of her. She's such a dolly. Look at that birthday, 2/22/77. And yes, life path 3, excuse me, you are 303. She was born in Cambridge, New York, 9:29 p.m. She wants you to look at her Saturn return energies.
Oh boy. I haven't got there yet. I'm just saying, oh boy, Saturn return's always fun to look at. I'm just looking at your picture. You look so beautiful. You look like a gypsy queen in that picture.
Yes, she does. She does.
You have to get Debra's tarot deck.
Oh yes, I forgot to plug my deck.
Plug your deck, because looking at her, you definitely need one.
Yes, definitely. I'll teach you how to read.
I'm sorry. Okay.
If you don't already, I'm sure you do. But you're also having a 5 personal year, which is quite interesting because it's your solar return or Saturn return. And so that's another thing that I want to say. Remind you that I'd said earlier is that in a 5 personal year, life synchronizes up the path you're going to move into. It's almost like the veil is thin, and guides are actually, because guides move you along through impulses. So that's how spirit communicates with us. If they want us to move over here, they'll give you an impulse. We can talk ourselves out of it, of course. It's free will. But what they have in a 5 personal year is they get to synchronize up 2 things. They give you the impulse, and they create your world as something you should say yes to or no to, become defined in. And if you go online and look at what does a personal year 5 mean in numerology, it has all this change and it's cryptic. Some of this stuff is old fashioned, but I will say it again. I've talked to more 5 personal year people who have had bounties, their life changing like that, the office they wanted. There's one lady had a TED talk that she had, but it's like she just walked right into it. Life just synchronized it up for her. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. And with a 3 energy, which is creative, gregarious, witty, quick. And then after you leave the party, you say, oh, I shouldn't have said that. I wish I should have said this, because you're really critical of yourself, almost as critical as an 11. We all have that dirty talk to a stinking thinking, but you might have it a little bit tougher because you're hard on yourself. Don't betray yourself at the first sign of trouble. Got something for gemstone?
Yes, I'm still looking around at this. Very interesting. You know, I misunderstood you, Deborah. I thought you said Saturn return, and she said it's actually she's looking for solar return. And so
Pardon me.
That's a happier thing to look at than a Saturn return.
Oh, okay. Sorry, gemstone.
The Saturn return is like, oh no. We don't, you know, that's like the 27 Club where all those wonderful people died right at the Saturn return. It's a hard time to go through. Anyway, solar return, just you are right, having a birthday really right away here. And your action is going to be in the 5th house of creativity. So you being the Pisces in the 5th house, some kind of creativity that is inspired through vision, interior vision. So your creative artistic pursuits could be done in a trance state almost, you know. I've had moments in music like that where you are just so out there in a trance state and you're just playing away. And that's the kind of thing that I see for you here, some kind of involvement with something creative that involves your spiritual side will give you great relief. And you do have a lot of focus in the 4th house. I don't know if you're having to move or if things are unstable in your home environment, something is needing some changes in attention there. And you, dear, look like you have a real mediumship ability with Pluto right on your ascendant in the 12th house. You definitely are in touch with spirit, and that contact can help you with your creative endeavor that will be a source of great joy for you. So you're more, this solar return is involving a lot of 4th house and 10th house. So 10th house, you have Saturn in career interest or something. I don't know, there could be some public exposure for you where you can make some waves. You've had a real tough struggle, and you could break through and attain some notoriety in what it is that you are trying to do. I'm not sure what that is. We need to investigate things a little more, but you are a very deep person. We don't have the superficial people are not tuning into this show. We have
That's right.
and not, and you have
Only the masters.
You're just a strongly grounded person and very had a lot of stuff, sweetie. I'm sorry for that, but it's made you strong. You want
my
to move
partner
to
and I
your
want
own
to move.
property. That's what is showing up here. A lot of intense activity in the home and moving the home environment. But it looks like a positive change for you. Just not gonna. It will be. So hang in there. And those
Sounds
are your intentions. You know, the right house will come to you. And I know it happened to me when I bought my first house. Like 2 or 3 deals fell through when people bought them for cash right under our feet, and we were so disappointed. And then we found out that the real house we were waiting for was not that. And thank God those had fallen through, because the real house, that when we were so disappointed and upset and oh no, but the real house that we needed was soon to materialize. So don't get discouraged if you have your heart set on something and it doesn't work out, because something better for you will come along, and you're in touch with your guides. So have them open the doors for you. Remember to ask. Remember to ask for help. Your angels and your guides are there waiting, saying, why don't you ask for help? Come on, we're here waiting. They're waiting for you to get approval for their intervention. Don't hesitate, because that's what they're there to do, and they're happy to do it.
Awesome.
Don't hesitate.
Awesome. Well, we have had, we're a little over here. We have had a really good time tonight. It's going to be, I hope you like the new format, and we will continue as long as you continue with us. That would be great.
Yeah, don't poop out on us.
Don't be out on us. We're just doing some fun stuff every Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific. If you wanted to, I'll put in a notice, that we're going to be coming on, and if you want to post in that chat once it's open, your questions right away. Even though we have Lalit does an overview first, but we'll get to you. And let us know how the week goes for you. I really appreciate all of you.
We love you. Thank you. New moon next week. Be here. We'll see you.
Please.
Full moon.
Manifest. See ya. Bye.